At my saddest, when my heart was too heavy to speak, when silence felt louder than any sound, God was my comforter. He didn't rush me to heal. He didn't tell me to move on. He simply stayed, quietly, patiently, lovingly. When the world didn't notice my pain, He did. When no one asked how I was really doing, He already knew. There were days I smiled so no one would ask questions, but inside, I was falling apart. I tried to stay busy, tried to distract myself, but grief doesn't disappear that easily. It lingers. It shows up in memories, in songs, in the places where someone or something used to be. And yet, even in that sadness, there was a strange kind of peace, the kind that whispered, "You're not alone." That whisper was God. He didn't take the sadness away immediately. Instead, He sat with me in it. He reminded me that it's okay to feel, it's okay to cry, it's okay to not be okay for a while. Because healing doesn't happen through pretending, it happens through surrender. At my saddest, I learned that God doesn't comfort through words, He comforts through presence. He shows up through a sunrise after a long night. Through a call from someone you hadn't heard from in months. Through quiet moments where the tears finally stop, and your heart feels just a little lighter. People sometimes mean well when they tell you to stay strong. But God never asked you to fake strength. He simply asks you to trust Him, even when you're weak. Because His strength begins where yours ends. There were times I told Him, "God, I can't do this anymore." And instead of judging me, He said, "You don't have to. Let me carry it." And somehow, I made it through another day. That's how He comforts, not by removing the storm, but by holding you steady inside it. Sadness can feel endless. It can make you question everything, your faith, your purpose, even your worth. But in those moments, God doesn't leave. He wraps His peace around you like a blanket, unseen but undeniable. You don't always realize it then, but you look back later and say, "I don't know how I made it through that, but I did." That's God. At my saddest, I discovered that tears aren't a sign of weakness, they're proof that you still care, still feel, still hope. And God counts every one of them. Every tear that falls in silence is seen. Every ache that has no words is heard. He bottles your tears, not one goes unnoticed. There was a time I thought I had to hide my sadness from Him, as if faith meant always being happy. But the truth is, God never asked for perfection, He asked for honesty. He wants the real you, the broken you, the tired you, the one who's still trying. Because His comfort is strongest when you stop pretending. He doesn't rush you to get over it. He walks with you through it. He teaches you that even sadness has purpose, that even pain can bring wisdom. Because sometimes, God uses heartbreak to soften the heart. Sometimes He uses loss to remind us what truly matters. And sometimes, He lets us sit in the valley so we can appreciate the mountain. At my saddest, I found out who was really there for me, and who wasn't. But more importantly, I found out that God was always there, even when I didn't notice. He never walked away. He never grew tired of my tears. He never said, "Enough already." He stayed. The world tells you to be strong, but God tells you, "Be still." Because real comfort isn't in fixing everything, it's in knowing you're safe even when nothing's fixed. And that's what His love does. It meets you right where you are and slowly lifts you up. Some days you'll wake up and still feel the weight of it all. That's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. It's okay to smile one day and cry the next. It's okay to feel hopeful in the morning and lost by night. God doesn't get tired of walking with you through the ups and downs. At my saddest, I prayed for things I didn't get, but what I received was peace. Not the kind that comes from getting what you want, but from realizing you're held even when you don't. Peace that doesn't depend on answers. Peace that just is. There's beauty in how God comforts. It's quiet, not loud. It's steady, not sudden. You may not notice it day by day, but one morning, you wake up and realize the pain doesn't hurt quite as much. You start laughing again, not pretending, but genuinely. You start breathing easier. And you realize, God healed me in silence. If you're in that place right now, if you feel like no one understands, like your heart is tired, remember this. You don't have to explain your pain to God. He already knows. You don't have to find the right words. He understands tears just as well as prayers. He doesn't expect perfection. He just wants you to rest in His arms and let Him handle what you can't. At my saddest, I stopped running from God and finally ran to Him. And that's when comfort began. Not when the situation changed, but when I realized I wasn't facing it alone. His comfort didn't come through an instant miracle, it came through constant love. Now I understand, sometimes, God allows sadness not to break you, but to rebuild you. He takes away what hurts you, even when it hurts to lose it. He slows your world down so you can see what really matters. He removes people, plans, and paths so he can lead you to peace. So if you're sitting in sadness, don't lose hope. This is not your ending. This is your transformation. The same God who comforted me will comfort you. The same love that healed me will heal you too. You may not see the purpose now, but one day you will. You'll look back and realize the nights you thought would break you actually built you. The days you cried were the days God was closest. And the sadness that once consumed you became the soil where your strength grew. At my saddest, I found the kind of love the world can't offer, unconditional, patient, eternal. And now I know, even when my heart breaks, I'm never truly alone. Because the God who comforts me in silence will